Greetings, my name is Carl Zulauf. I'm a professor of agricultural economics at Ohio State University. I am here to discuss with you the crop program decisions that you will need to make under the 2014 Farm Bill. Let us now take a look at some of these decisions and some of the things that you will need to consider. FSA farm owners will also have a program acre reallocation decision. The word reallocation has significance in this particular decision because your base acres will not increase or decrease at all, but will stay the same, but you will have the option to allocate them in one of two ways. The default option is the current program acres. So if you do nothing, you will keep your current program acres, however they are divided among the crops that they are divided among, such as corn, soybeans, wheat, which are the more common crops in the state of Ohio. But you may also have oats and barley acres, program acres here in the state. The alternative or the option to reallocate is your current total program acres allocated by the share of the covered crops, and covered crops is the same as program crop, acres planted or prevented planting to each of the program crops during the 2009 through 2012 years. So the first thing to note is that compared to the yield update decision, which used the years 2008 through 2012, the program base acre or program acre reallocation decision uses the years 2009 to 2012. This is a FSA farm decision, so you would make this decision not on a crop by crop basis as the program yield decision was, but you will make this on an FSA farm decision, and that means it's either all the yields, either all the base acres are reallocated or none of the base acres are reallocated. So you either have option 1 or option 2 above. This is an important decision because both the both the ARC and the PLC program makes their payments on program acres, not on planted acres. So whatever your program acres are on that FSA farm, that is the acres on which you will be paid, not to the crop that that farm is planted to. Again, I think an illustration is useful to help you understand this decision and understand the kind of issues that you might want to consider. I've created an example here. Again, this is no particular farm. It is an example farm. The crops that are on the farm that have been planted over the years 2009 through 2012 include alfalfa, which is not a program crop, and I put a non-program crop in here because I wanted to illustrate that those crops will not factor into this decision. To begin with, you have a current program base that is distributed among the crops. Again, there's nothing in alfalfa because it's not a program crop. 50 of the 100 acres are in corn, 10 is in oats, 30 is in soybeans, 10 is in wheat. So you have a total covered crop or total program acres of 100 acres. And then they were planted, that 100 acres was planted to various crops in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. For example, the acres in corn was 50 in 2009, 40 in 2010, 30 in 2011, and 40 in 2012. You will notice that no acres were planted to oats and acres were planted to wheat in only 2 of the 4 years. What you then do is you create the average plantings over those 4 years. So you would sum the number of acres that was planted and divide it by 4. And what you end up with is 40 acres of corn on average that was planted over the 4 years, none of oats, 36 of soybeans, and 4 of wheat. And that gives you a total acres planted to program crops of 80. Even though there was 100 acres planted on this farm, remember that 20 of them were planted to alfalfa, which is not a program crop and does not come into play in this particular decision. So then what you do is you take the average acres that was planted to the program crops and divide each of those by 80 to get the percent of acres among program crops that was planted to that particular crop. In the case of corn, we planted 40 acres to corn on this FSA farm out of a total of 80 program acres that was planted on this farm. So corn accounted for 50% of all program acres, and so on. In this particular case, soybeans are 45% of the acres, program acres on the farm, and then wheat is then 5%. Then what you do is you take these percentages, what I call the reallocate percentages, and you multiply them by 100 acres of base, because this farm has 100 acres of base on it. And so your new base acres would be a combination of 50 acres of corn base, 0 acres of oats base, 45 acres of program acres in soybeans, and 5 program acres in wheat. So what you would then do is you would compare, choices would be to have your current base acre allocation, which is 50 of corn, 10 of oats, 30 of soybeans, and 10 of wheat. Or you could take the reallocated option, which would be 50 of corn, 0 of oats, 45 of soybeans, and 5 acres of wheat. So you would have the choice of, do you want to take on additional soybean base acres and give up oats and wheat base acres? Again, please understand that this is not an update. So if you only have 3 base acres, for example, you will still only have 3 base acres. All you can do is reallocate among the crops that you planted in 2009 through 2012 the base acres themselves, but you can't increase or decrease the acres. So it's not really a program acre update decision. It really is a program acre reallocation decision. By far the most common reallocation decision that most farmers in the Midwest and in Ohio will have to debate and discuss and decide is, do I want to take on additional soybean acres and give up wheat acres, give up oats acres, give up barley acres, because soybean acres have been increasing in this state. And so this is the base acre reallocation decision. I want to underscore that I think this is a really important decision. I think for many farmers this will be just as important as the program choice. For others it won't be, because there isn't much difference between the reallocated and the current base acres. But for those farmers that have significant changes in planting history over those 4 years and do have significant changes in base acres, this becomes an important decision, because the base acre acres is what determines the payments by the ARC program and by the PLC program. So again, please give this decision your time and effort. It is an important one. With that, I will stop discussion of this particular decision.